Hello, and welcome to the Lucy Liu Show, the fueling station for your mind, business, and life. And now, here's your host, Lucy Liu.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode on the Lucy Liu Show. This is your host, Lucy Liu. So one of my intentions with this podcast is for you to learn the tools and resources to light a candle in your life when things get dark. I hope to be the light that shines through, and I hope that you will be the light that helps others see as well. And I believe in order to do this, we need to live in alignment with our light. And that's why today I have on the show Emily K. Thomas. It's a very interesting conversation because we are both California girls, and at the time of the recording, I am in Asia and Emily is in Europe. It's a small world, but we love what we do. So Emily is the founder of Sundari Swimwear. She's the host of the Live Your Light podcast, and she helps entrepreneurs scale their business through energetic alignment. She's here to share her own personal story of transforming her life by taking a sabbatical. We're here to encourage you to reset your life anytime as you need it and to live your light. Enjoy this conversation. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Hey, it's so wonderful to be here. It was so wonderful connecting with you and then also having you on my show. I'm so honored. Thank you for having me.
So what does it mean to you to live your light?
Oh, such a good question. When I think about living my light, I think about, okay, what is the light within me? Like what sparks that element of feeling alive? And living your light is really that. It's being in alignment with your truth, with your desire and your soul's connection to divinity. Like what makes you feel the best?
Tell us a story of back in the days when you were not living your light.
Okay, so there are many, but I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, our lives are supposed to be this way. Our lives are supposed to be ups and downs and left and right and all over the place because we're in this human experience. So I appreciate all of the experiences. Let me just start there. And then to really pinpoint a moment where it was really like the pinnacle that set me into a different direction, I would have to say that I mean, like I said, there's so many instances that I feel like it's just another season and chapter that has really helped me grow into who I am, and it's ever going. But there was a time when I was dating somebody who was very intense. I'll say that very, very intense. And I was in a very intense position at work. I was in the medical industry for about 10 years, and this particular position was very male dominated. And so I felt like I really needed to show up and be somebody that I wasn't. I was very scared of showing up as who I was because I was a female and also very young for that position, but I did it really well. And after so long of pretending to be somebody, not that I wasn't, but just not allowing myself to truly be me, I felt so disconnected from myself that I didn't even know who I was anymore. I truly didn't have a recognition of what it is I wanted, what it is I didn't want. I would just go with the flow. And so I was very submissive and passive with everything. And one day I woke up and I was like, why am I like this? Why don't I have an opinion? Why don't I stand up for myself? I used to be so strong and I was so unrecognizable that I knew I needed to just pull the trigger and take a reset. And I did that. Exactly that. I decided to just go on a sabbatical by myself to genuinely just get to know me again. And similar to your story, my parents raised me to stay with commitments, to never give up, never quit, to always be just striving for more and more and more. So it was really a tough time when I told my parents, I was like, this is just not feeling good for me anymore. I need to do something for myself. And what I meant now, I didn't even have the language around it back then, but now I understand that was severe misalignment in my life. And it was presenting itself in the sense of really unhealthy behaviors. For instance, I would go out drinking on Friday, Saturday, Sunday because I lived for the weekend because I had no time for myself. Or I would, just hinder what I ate, or I wouldn't sleep, or it was just really this severe disconnection. And I really just know that I was supposed to, like, the body knows how to force you to pay attention. And so it was through a eating disorder that stemmed from all of this to really pull me out of this numb state. And that's why I actually built out a business called Sundari Swim, which is a swimwear brand, but it's more than actually a swimwear brand. It's really about helping women connect back to their bodies, because I truly lived that. I was so disconnected from who I was. And so it was just really that instance where I needed to wake up. So I went on a sabbatical. I went to Bali. I practiced deep inner work. I did somatic healing. I did energetic healing, and I did meditation and breath work. And I became certified life coach, a certified breathwork and meditation facilitator, and then also a certified yoga instructor. You can see the tendencies that I have of really striving, still showing up within the wellness industry, I guess. But still, it was in those moments where I went on this deep investigative journey within myself to really understand what it is I really wanted and how I wanted to get there. And I know it sounds so simplistic, but it was really something that took a lot of discipline, because every time I thought about what I wanted, I would go the other direction and say, oh no, well, maybe my parents would want me to do this, or maybe my boyfriend would want me to do this, or maybe I never gave myself a space to have a voice. It took, I want to say a couple years for me to finally stand in my power and say, okay, this is what I want. This is who I am. And I got there through energetics. Obviously there's different elements that came to play, but energetics was the most significant for me. And I remember going into an energetic intensive weekend with my coach at the time. And he does something called core energetics. And I actually interviewed him on my podcast, the Live Your Light show. And you guys can check that out. I'm not quite sure what episode that is, but basically it's a experience where you move the energy, stuck energy in your body, and also in your mental energetics. So the moment I started to activate and really move this energy, I started to witness parts of myself that I hadn't seen for decades. It was one of those things that I was just like, okay, this is Emily. She's coming out. She's becoming herself again. And it was after this weekend that, and this is all energy, I'm telling you, like some people, and this is so interesting because I used to be one of these skeptics because I was in the medical industry. I was so science-based that I didn't believe in the unseen. But it was undeniable. After I did this session, this weekend intensive, I felt different. I know that I vibrated differently. And as a result, I ended up meeting my husband that next week. And retrospectively, like, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I was not, it required me to elevate my energetic vibration to meet him, because he is a very, very high vibrational being. And so I started dedicating my life's work to helping people understand their energetic vibration and where they need to adjust and how to adjust and shift vibrational states to get where they want to be.
Thank you for sharing your story, Emily. I am absolutely a big believer in taking sabbaticals. They are miraculous, right? There are so many different modalities of healing work, and there are so many places in the world that you can go to find out who you are and learn amazing new things in life. And just like a phone, right? When your phone's stuck, you can just hit the reset button. And as humans, we also need to reset. And you get to decide when you want to reset yourself. And that could be any moment during the day. If you feel you need to reset, just take a 2-minute break. If you need to reset life, take sabbaticals. It's amazing. And I loved all your different modalities that you shared. Was there any other helpful resources that helped you and contributed to your transformation?
I would say that breath work is really a key element. And before the old Emily that was grinding and in the medical industry had no idea that I was breathing wrong, right? I was always breathing shallow. And it wasn't until I actually took a breathwork class that I started to learn how to really breathe with your whole belly. So like that 3-part breath where you breathe in with the lower compartment of your belly and then the midsection and then the upper section in just one breath. And then you exhale and then you start over again. And by doing that, I started to feel so different just within that one exercise. So I think that I like sharing that exercise because it's free and it's available to every one of us wherever we are right now in this instant. So it doesn't require you to have to take a class. It doesn't require you to go to a gym. You can do it right now as you're driving or working or whatever you're doing. Just stop for a moment and allow the lower section of your abdomen to expand outwards. And then the midsection and then the upper section as you inhale. And then you exhale. As you exhale, allow that lower section and then the midsection and then the upper section to slowly go down. And by doing that, and sometimes it helps to place your right or left hand on your abdomen so that you can feel it rising in those 3 different compartments. But I find that just slowing down and bringing mindfulness to that area of your abdomen, it allows you to really slow down and consciously reset yourself. So it's almost like we're talking about like this big scale of us taking a sabbatical to push the restart button. But this is really a smaller scale where you can press the reset button just by taking a couple deep belly breaths. And so I really believe in that. And what's so interesting is as women, we've been trained to hold our bellies in. And that was so real for me. And so when I started to actually breathe for real, I saw such significant changes. And so, yeah, to answer your question, I think breathing fully and going to breathwork classes is really amazing as well.
I love that. I actually had a client who is a breathwork coach, and she gave us a little sample of breathwork session in my past episode, number 32. And wow, I absolutely love this powerful modality too. And it definitely got me through COVID. How do you measure your energetic alignment? Because I know you're all about energetics. How do you measure your own energetics?
Such a good question. So there's a couple of ways I can answer this, and I'm just going to go into specifically about what I think by sharing the work I do, it kind of will help you understand. So what I do for people is I help them understand what is a positive or negative choice for them. So what does that mean? Every one of us has unique energetic framework. So we all have what I call energetic DNA that really differentiates us from one another, which is really beautiful, right? So these energetic gifts that we are given are how we are designed to receive vital force energy. And vital force energy is the stuff of creation itself. So it's what allows us to move and create and move and build and, be living, right? And so the more we have, the more alive we feel. So we each have different ways of receiving this vital force energy based off of our energetic DNA. So what does that actually mean in terms of living our life, right? So what constitutes as a positive or negative choice for you, Lucy, or for me are very different. That's why sometimes when we go through let's say, a traditional college or a traditional business school or whatever it looks like for you, might not feel like it fits, right? It might feel like, oh yeah, I'm just crossing off taking things off because that's what I'm supposed to do. It's because sometimes that's not necessarily the best way for you to learn or the best path for you to take, right? Because specifically to your energetic framework, you might actually thrive in a different way of learning or a different path of creation, or let's say it's music or whatever you are designed to create, right? So to answer your question, I help people understand their divine gifts, so their energetic DNA. When you understand who you are at soul level, which is this specific energetic framework, you then know what constitutes as a positive or negative choice. It's like confirmation for you to hear what you are and how you can move through life, because it gives you a lot more confidence. And it's almost every time I share with people who they are at soul level, they feel seen. They remember parts of themselves that they haven't let themselves shine or come through. And so it's really a beautiful moment when I can share this for people, because it helps them see who they are again. And that's really beautiful, to allow yourself to really honor your truth. And so from there, I help create a plan of action of how you can take different patterns of choice. So whenever you make a choice, you actually shift your vibrational state. If you're making choices that are incongruent with your energetic DNA, you are going to receive more vital force energy. You're going to be in more of alignment. Things are going to flow to you, because when you are in alignment with your divinity, that's when you are abundant in all areas.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Emily. If you want to learn more about energetic and how to live your light, head over to Emily's podcast, Live Your Light Podcast.
And you can also find me on Instagram at It's Emily K. Thomas, or you can find me on my website, my new website I just launched, emilykthomas.com.
Thank you.
Awesome.
To all the beautiful souls listening, thank you for joining me on this episode of The Lucy Liu Show. When I'm not podcasting, I am coaching high-achieving women in life transitions, getting unstuck, kissing overwhelm goodbye, and living a more joyful and fulfilled life through strategic goal setting and mindset transformation. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe, rate, or share this with a friend. And don't forget to join me for the next episode. Remember, there is always a way, and more blessings are coming your way. For free resources and show notes, head over to LucyLouCoaching.com.